Hello, welcome to another episode in this video series of making simple GIS project. In this video, we are going to learn how to make an atlas map. And more specifically, we are going to make an atlas map of Nigerian presidential election. So by the end of this video, we are going to make a collection of map that looks like this. So if you don't know what an atlas map is just a collection of maps. So we are going to use the election results collated for each state and then produce series of maps for each state showing how each party performed in the general election. And also we will also do similar thing for local government. We are going to produce the atlas map of all the local governments in the country, showing the performance of every political party within the region. So let me show you in detail how the maps will look like. So as I've mentioned, an atlas map is just a collection of maps. So here we have the collection of states maps showing the presidential election result. So here we have Kano State, and as you can see, we have the map of Kano, and then we have the results. The local government are shaded according to the political parties. So from the key, you can see that the blue color is APC, the green color is LP, the orange color is NNPP, and then the red color is PDP. So you can also see the attribute table here and some other map element and features that makes up this atlas map. So if you check for another state, this is Sokoto State, similar thing is being showcased. So if you don't know, an atlas is just a collection of maps. And in this case, we are looking at the states and their local government, and then how each political party performed in the general election. So just to clarify, this data is not actually an official record or obtained from the INEC. This data is actually a made-up data just to demonstrate how an atlas map is being made and nothing more than that. So in case if the figures I have used does not favor your political party, please don't take it personal, and by the end of this tutorial, you should be able to create an atlas map that looks like this, of course. So let me show you an example of the local government we made. So the map can be exported in either image, as you can see here, or in PDF, as you have seen earlier. So this is the atlas map showcasing the election result for each local government. So the map of the local government is shown to the right. Then the statistics of how the political parties performed is shown to the left. So you can see in this local government, which is in Abia State, LP, Labour Party won in Abia South LGA of Abia State. And then you can see the record from the attribute table. So APC got this value, PDP got this number, LP got this, and then NNPP got this. So you can see LP has the highest score there. So if you check Abia North, this is the result. And then as you can see, PDP won in Abia North. If I scroll to other local government within the state, you will see that the bar chart, the longer the bar chart signifies which party won in that LGA. So in this case, NNPP won in this particular LGA of Abia State. So you can scroll through, and then so remember that there are over 700 LGAs in Nigeria. So we are going to produce the whole of this using the Atlas feature in QGIS. So let me check the QGIS project that we have used. So this is actually the project, and then as you can see, the map layout is here. So this is the one that has the atlas map of the states. I can click this arrow to navigate through the entire record. So you can see the state map with the local government is shown here. Then the attribute table is shown on this side. Then we have a map overview, which shows where the state is on the map of Nigeria. If I scroll to the next state, the box location will change. The map overview will change to that state where the state is, just like that. And then also we have a dynamic text here that changes depending on whether the state is in north central, northwest, north east, south south, whatever geopolitical zone the state is. And then also the state capital. The name of the state capital is at the bottom of the geopolitical zone. So here we have Ogun State. And then as you can see, the map overview is showing the location. Then we have the geopolitical zone, and then we have the name of the state capital. And then the attribute table too changes depending on whichever state we are looking at. So that is that of the state. Then that of the LGA2 is here. If I open up the map, then as you can see, we can navigate through to see what we have. So let me not take much of your time. I'm going to open up a new QGIS environment, and then let's start the whole process from scratch. Okay, now that we are on a fresh project, let's save it. So here I'll just save it inside my project folder. I'm going to name it Atlas map of Nigerian election result. So you can give it any name as you wish. So the next thing we need to do is to import our dataset. So as usual, I have prepared the dataset before now, but I'm going to walk you through on how to get it. Usually it's just a shape file I prepared of Nigerian administrative boundary. So let me filter it. So these are the two shape files I'm going to use: the state administrative boundary and the local government boundary. So just add the shapefile to the map canvas. So the project is based on WGS EPSG code 4326. And this is the LGA, while this is the state layer. So let me check the attribute of each. So for the state polygon layer, these are the attributes. Nothing special here. We have the state name, the capital, the geopolitical zones, the full name, and then the abbreviation. That is all. Then the LGA. This is where we have the data set. That's the election results for the 4 main political parties we are going to work on. So we have the names of the state, the names of the local government, and then we have the political parties: APC, PDP, LP, and NPP. So in each local government, these are the corresponding votes they got. And then we also have another column for the winner in that particular local government. So the highest vote, the party with the highest vote is the winner, of course, in that local government. So here we have. So I just prepared this data. They are just random numbers generated for each of the political parties. So I think officially the INEC election results should be hosted on the INEC result portal. I thing, which is this. If you Google INEC election result, you should get to this INEC election results.ng. So I think you need to log in, after which you should be able to find the official figures on this very portal. So the dataset I'm using is actually not an official figure. So I just made it up. It's randomly generated just for learning purpose. So this is the dataset we are going to use throughout this tutorial. So before we go further, there is an important step that is usually ignored when making something like this, and it can cost you a lot of time if you decide to skip it. So that step is actually preparing the layout of your map or your atlas map in advance. So there is a popular saying that if you fail to plan, it means you plan to fail. So actually, in preparing the layout, the preparing the mockup for the layout is not actually a big deal. You can use your hand, your pencil to just sketch how you want the layout to look like. And that is exactly what I've done here. As you can see, this is the layout for the first map, which is the state atlas maps. So we have basically from the top, we're going to have the title. Then we have the map of the state in this region. Then here we have the table, which is the attribute table. Then here we have the map overview. We have the key, and then we can have other details at this corner. So then for the LGA2, you need to do the same thing. So this is the layout I came up with for the local government. So the map of the LGA is going to occupy this big space. And then in this top box here, we have the title, we have the name of the LGA, we have the table, we have the bar chart, we have the winning statement at the footer. So this is actually helpful at the long run. By the time we got to the stage where we need to design the layout, you can easily make reference to this and then make our life easier. So when we get to that stage, we are going to make reference to this very layout mockup, and then see which of the elements are dynamic and then which of them are going to be static. So for now, let's move on to the QGIS environment and then prepare the map for the Atlas production. So recall that Atlas is just a collection of maps. So you can read up this Wikipedia page and then to learn more about what an atlas is. So the first map we are going to work on is the state. So this is the state, and then we need to work on the atlas map. So here the map that will be showcased here is going to be the map of a state, showing the corresponding LGAs, and then each LGA is now colored according to the party, according to the political party that won the local government. So if I go back to my map, here is the LGA, is the state layer. So I think since I'm working with QGIS 3 version 3, let me enable the styling. So from the view menu, I can enable layer styling. So if I enable the layer styling, it will make the work easier. So instead of going to the properties and then changing the layer style each time, I can just do that directly from the layer styling panel. So here I can switch between the layers depending on which one I want to edit, or I can just select the active layer here. As you can see, if I select the active layer, the layer styling panel gets updated. So here, let's remove the background color for the state layer so that we can see the local governments behind it. So with the layer selected, I just come here and then click on simple fill and then change this solid to no brush. And then here immediately you can see that I can see the background LGA map underneath. So if I wish, I can change the stroke to maybe dotted dash. And I can also change the stroke color if I wish to do that. Yeah, as you can see, it gets updated directly on the map. Let me change it to red. Okay, I think the orange is okay. So I can also increase the width if I wish. Let me increase the width a little bit. Maybe 0.6 is okay. So we are going to work with this to style the map. So the next thing I need to do is, remember we're working on the state. So I need to go create a new print layout. So I will just click on the print layout. Then I will just call the print layout state map. You can give it any name you want. So on the print layout, I need to give the size of paper I want to use. So because I've done this before, I knew that the page is going to be a custom size of 320 by 300. So this is the size that I used previously. So you can always change the size if the size doesn't work for you. You can play around with the size. You can start with A4 or A3 and then increase or decrease the size as per your need. So here I'm working with the width of 330 and then the height of 300. So it's a custom paper size. So with this, I need to add the map. But before then, let me quickly check my design, my mockup design, and see what I have there. So you can see from the top, I have a title. Then at this point, I have the map of state. Then here I have the table. So let me go back. So the first thing I need to add the text, maybe somewhere here, which is the title. Let me increase the size, the font size to maybe something like 36. Then let me center it. Let me change the text. I'll scroll back, change the text to just a temporary text called title. So that is that. Then somewhere here, I need to have the map. So I'll click on add map. Then I need to add the map like this. Yeah. Then on the remaining space here, this is where I have the attribute table. So I can navigate to my menu and then add attribute table. So we are going to work on all of this in a moment, but for now, let's just add them as temporary placeholders. Then at the bottom, according to my mockup design, at the bottom I have an overview map, which is a second map. Then here I have key, which is the legend. Then here I have some other details. So I think for now, what I have on the print layout is okay for me to start designing the layout. So, but before then, what I need to do first is to make sure that I switch to the Atlas tab and then make sure that this print layout is generated. That's the generate an Atlas map is checked. Then under the configuration, I need to check the layer I need to work with. So here I want the map to show the state and the LGAs. So I make sure that the coverage layer is set to state. I can set the coverage layer to be hidden if I don't want to show it, but for now I don't think it's necessary. Then this page name. So make sure that the page name is set to the name you want to use to control the page. So this is actually very important, and you are going to see why it is important very soon. So the page name that controls the atlas map is the state name. That's the attribute column called state name. Then if I scroll down, the output, other ones I can leave them default for now. Then under the output, I need to select the output. So depending on what I want to do, if I want the output, the generated output to be a single file, I'll make sure that this is checked. But if I want it to be separate files, then I'll have to uncheck this and then customize the output file name expression. So we'll come back to this later on. But for now, let's continue with the current settings we have had. So with this, I click on save to save my layout. So let me first of all work on the map. So as you can see, the page name for this atlas is set to the state name. So if I go back to the map, if I open the attributes of the state polygon layer, you see that we have a column called state name, which is set as the page name for the atlas. So we are going to use this to actually control the appearance of the LGA on the map. So if I switch back to the attribute, so if I switch back to the LGA layer, I can categorize the layer based on the winners column. So I can click on classify, and then as you can see, we now have different classes for the winning political parties. So if I go back, check the attribute, you see that we have a column for winner. So winner is a column that is generated by comparing the votes gotten by each political party in the same local government. The political party with the highest vote has its name written under the winners column. So for example, if you take this local government as an example, APC got this value, PDP got this, LP got this, and NMPP got this. So the political party with the highest vote in this local government is PDP. That's why it's considered the winner. For this, it is NMPP. That's why it's considered the winner. For this is LP. That's why it's considered the winner. For this very local government, it is APC. That's why it is considered the winner. So that is how this column was prepared. I think I will have a separate video to talk about how I came up with this data, because actually I made use of some kind of expression or Python scripting, to be precise, to generate this data set. So I think I will talk about it in a separate video. So that is how this winner column was generated. So each column, each local government has the political party with the highest votes, so which is considered the winner in that local government. So that is how it is. So now I decide to style the map using the winners column, and this is the output. So as you can see, this color may not be suitable for what we intend to do, because this color was automatically generated and it may not suit what we wanted. So there are places you can usually refer to if you are not sure of how to combine the color, because as it is now, I would like to make some edits to these colors to suit what I wanted. Like if you look at APC, presently the color is this orange, which is not an APC color. If you look at LP, Labour Party, the color is set to blue, which is not an LP kind of color. If you look at NNPP2, the color is not its color. PDP, the color, this is set to green, which is not its color. So let's see. So this is for, this last one is for LG that have none of these political parties, but I don't think we have any. So I can easily delete it if I want to. I'll just select it and then click on delete. So to remove it, so I don't need it. So what I'm going to do now is to change the colors. If you're someone like me that find it difficult to combine multiple colors on a map, that is a particular tool that is very useful to giving advice on color combination on a map. And the name of the website is called Color Brewer. So let me open it up for you. So this is the Color Brewer website. Here you can find different kind of beautiful color combinations that you can use on your map. You can select from all sorts of ranges. That's a number of data classes. You can combine them from 9, combine them 6, you can select 4, and so on. So like in our own case, the color combination we needed are 1, 2, 3, 4. So it means we need to select 4 classes here, and then we have different options to choose from. So you have different options to choose from. So any color combination you decide to make use of, you can get the hex code for the color here, or if you're using RGB, you can switch to RGB or CMYK and so on. So, but me, I'm using hex codes for this color. So I will use the hex codes here. So just play around with the colors and then choose the one that works for you the best. Then after which you can now copy the hex code into the QGIS environment. So in my case, these are the color I have decided to use for each political party. So for APC, this is the hex code I'm going to use for it. So I'll just copy it back to the map, then go to APC, then change the color like this. So instead of this yellow, I'll change the hex code here to this value. So that is APC. Then I can go back. This is for Labour Party. I'll go back to the Labour Party and then change it. So instead of this blue, change it to this. I'll paste the color I just picked. Then go back to the next party, which is NNPP. So NNPP is using, I decided to make use of this color for NNPP. So go to the color, change it to that. Then the next party is PDP. PDP, I made use of this color for PDP. So double click, simple fill, click on the color, and then change it to the color, to the hex code I have chosen. So these are the colors I am using for the 4 political parties. So as you can see from here, we already have a map that we can always showcase. So these are the PDP LGs. So these are the LGs that PDP won. If I switch to NPP, these are the local governments that NNPP won across the country. So if I switch to LP, these are the local government that LP won across the country. If I switch to APC, these are the LGs across the country that APC won. So you can easily make use of any of these to produce your maps. But in this This is not what we wanted. What we wanted is to produce the atlas map of the entire states and local governments, showing the statistics of the election results across the country. So with this, we can now customize the map for uh, Atlas map. So recall that on our print layout here, we decide to set the Atlas page to Nigerian state, and then that's the state's name. So for only the states to appear here, we need to make sure that the map here is set to the styling of the page of the map is set to rule-based styling, not categorize. So after you have categorized the map, just come back here, switch to rule-based styling. Then you need to add a new rule-based styling here, which is this. So double click on it. Then under filter, you make sure that you set the field variable name state to equal to the variable Atlas page name. So the column state name should equal to Atlas page name. Then click on OK. Then now drag the entire categories you have, and then make sure to put them under the rule-based styling you have just done. So with this, you have something like this. So the rule base is now, the categories are now under the rule base styling we just defined. So if I go back to my Atlas map and then click on generate Atlas or preview Atlas, you should see that we now have only the first state showing, which is Adamawa State in this case. If I switch to Ebonyi, only Ebonyi will show. If I switch to Edo, only Edo will show. If I switch to Abuja, only Abuja will show. If I switch to Kebbi, only Kebbi state will show. So this is exactly what we wanted with an Atlas map. So what if you notice, I need to make sure that the map is filling up this area. So I need to go back to the map item, make sure the map is selected. So the item property, then under control by Atlas, check it so that the entire map is controlled by Atlas, and then you can make use of any of these scaling options. So usually I just allow it on margin around future. I set it to 10%, but you can make use of predefined scale, or you can make use of fixed scale. So that is that. So our map is now fully controlled by the Atlas, which is exactly what we wanted. So if I go back now to the map, let's go back to the design and see what we have. So we have successfully added the map, and then now we need to add the table. The table too, have added it, but we need to customize it so that it fits our Atlas map. So if you look at what we have on the table is showing the combination of virtually every kind of detail for different states. You can see here we have Delta, we have Abia. So all these states are shown. So, but we want the table to be controlled by the Atlas also. We want whatever state map is being selected, the table should be updated to show the corresponding state table as well. So to do that, we make sure that the table is selected, then go back to the item property on the right hand side here. Then we can make sure that we remove duplicate rows. Show feature visible on the map, yes. Then link map to map 1. Yes, so we are linking the table to map 1. And as you can see, the table is now updated. So this is, if I select Lagos, the table gets updated to Lagos. If I select the next state, Nasarawa State, okay, Nasarawa State it didn't work. So it means we still have to show, okay, show only features intersecting the feature. Okay, filter. Yes, we need to filter it too. So let's filter the table where the field name is equal to the variable name, the atlas page name. Yeah, atlas page name. Yeah. So when I select Nasarawa State, you can see only Nasarawa State is selected this time around. If I select Niger State, only the attribute table of Niger will also be selected. If I select something like Kaduna, only the attribute table of Kaduna and the map of Kaduna will be shown. So this is exactly what we wanted. But there are some columns here that I don't want. I would like to remove some of them. For example, like this use name, I don't want it. I think I can leave this winner and other ones. Even this state I can leave it, but let me remove unwanted column. So to remove unwanted column, you need to just go to this attribute and then select the columns that you don't want. Then click on remove. When you're done, you click on OK. So you see that the unwanted column will be removed. And if you want to arrange, I think in this case, I need the LGA name, the state name should come before the LGA name. So I can go back here, select the state, then move it up and click on OK. And then you can see that the arrangement will be updated. So that is it. If you want the winner to come before the political parties, the column winner should come before the political parties, you can also move it. But I think it's okay, the position here is okay. So you can customize the appearance of the table as well. For example, you can bolding the header, you can change the color, you can change the font style. So like the table heading, let's increase the font to maybe something like 16, and let's bolden it. And as you can see, it has increased it. But I think 16 is too large. Let me take it to 14. Let me take it to 12. Or let me just take it to 14, but regular. Yeah, I think that is better. So what, as you can see, it's moving out of our defined layout. So you can always update the size of the layout if you want. So let me just say maybe the width, I will increase it to 340 to accommodate the new table. Then if I select the table, I can also increase the text of the content. So table content, the text, the font size. So we can set the font style to maybe 12 and then just regular, not bold. Okay. So the table is getting bigger, it's getting out of the shape, out of the space we provided. So we can just increase it to maybe 50, maybe just 60. So actually, let me just take it to 55. Yeah. So if that works, then that is all. So we have successfully configured the map, the table, the attribute table, and we have not worked on the title yet. So the title, I can expand it so that it will be centered. I also move it up a little. So let me continue with the table first. I think the table too, I need to do some, maybe the header, I need to put a background color for the header so that it will differ from the other content. So to set the background color of the header, you just need to go to under appearance, you need to go to advanced customization. So under the advanced customization tab, you will see different options you can choose from. For example, default background. So the default background is white. You can always change it if you want. Let's actually change it to something light, like a light gray. You can click on apply to see the preview. Then you can odd columns. You can change the color of odd columns, odd rows, even rows. First column, header row. So let's change the color of the header row. For example, you need to check here and then change the color to whatever color you wish. Let me say something like orange. And so you can play around with anything you want to, like even columns. Let me say even columns, change them to white. Let me say even rows, change them to white. So you can play around with all this configuration to get to what you want. So if you're satisfied with your settings, I think I would remove this. Yeah, so this is better. So if you're satisfied with your settings, you click on OK, and then you can now have your table. So just select the table and then play around with all these customizations to suit what you wanted. So that is that for the table. Then for the title, too, let's work on the title for now before we move on to the next element. So on the title, we are going to have the state name. So the state name will be on top. Then maybe we'll have another text for the text that says 2023 presidential election result. So let's start with the state name. So I'm going to remove this text. So because this state name is going to change whenever the map is selected, the atlas map is changed. For example, if here's Kaduna, if I change it to Enugu, the state name should also change, just as the way the map changes and the table changes. So we want it to change. So since we want that, it means we are going to use an expression for the title of the map. So I remove the title text and then click on insert expression. So the expression I'm going to use is going to be the state name, and then I will now concatenate it with the string that says state. Let me get the spelling right. So Abia state, Enugu state, Kaduna state, Sokoto state, and so on. So as you can see here from the preview, whatever you type here, you see the changes. For example, if I type SSS, you can see that the changes is taking effect. So Enugu state, I need to add space here so that the state name will be separated from the state word. So if I click on OK, the name will appear here. So if I scroll, as you can see, as I'm changing it, everything is changing, everything is getting updated dynamically. So, but there is a little problem here. If I switch to Abuja, Abuja shouldn't be Abuja state, it should be Abuja Federal Capital Territory or something like that, not state. So you can easily update this using that's after you have done the production, you can always update this from the image or from the PDF you generated. And then also I noticed some of the states actually pushes the table beyond the boundary. So like this is pushing the table outside the boundary we have outside the layout boundary we have defined. So like this. So I need to find the one that pushes the boundary the most and then update the record. Or better still, I can just reduce the size of the text so that the table will be accommodated accordingly. So for the header, I will change it to 12, and then for the content, I will change it to 11, and then this should accommodate virtually all of them. So that is that. So as you can see, we have so far all the elements we have added are dynamic. Let me go back to the mockup layout and then try to identify those elements that are dynamic. So this is the title is actually dynamic element. So this is dynamic. I think let me just use a red color for the dynamic elements and then maybe green color for the static element. So this is dynamic. This is dynamic. This is dynamic. The map overview too is going to be a dynamic element. So the key and I think whatever detail we're going to have here should also be dynamic. But the key is going to be a static element. So let me use green for that. So this is a static element. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 dynamic features or elements on the map and only one static element. So, but below the title, I need to have a static text too. So I'm going to have a static text just below the title here. And the text will read 2023 presidential election result. So let's quickly do that. So I will just go back here and then I'm going to move these 2 elements down. I'll move them down so that I'll have space. So I'm going to duplicate whatever we have, the text we have there, and then just move it down a little. So here I'm going to reduce the font size, and then this text will just be 2023 presidential election results. But I'm going to reduce the text, the font size. So it is currently 36. Let me take it to 22. Let me increase it a little bit to maybe something like 26. Move this a little bit closer. So I think we are okay. But if you look at what we have here now, zoom to full extent. So if you look at what we have here now, I think the space we have below is a little bit small for us, so I can increase it maybe 30 from 300 to 150. I can even just increase it to 400 or 00. Yeah, zoom to full extent. So the next element we need to add is the map overview. So I will need to add the map of Nigeria here like this, showing the entire country and then showing the overview where the state is on the map. So to do that, all I need to do is before then, all I need to do is I will need to lock the layer styling for this state map so that it doesn't show the state boundary. And also I need to show the label of the LGS. I need to label the LGS. So I will select, so first of all, I will disable this, select this, and then go to label. I will use the LGA name to label each and every LGA. So I'm going to buffer it so that it will have this clean white background. Then the placement too, I will make sure that it is offset to center. Then I think these are the basic settings we need to do. Then if I wish to change the font style, the font size, I can do that. Maybe I'll change it to 8. Click on apply, then go back to the map layout to see the preview. So refresh to see the preview. So these are the labels on the maps. As you can see, everything still works the way we expected it to work. Since if I'm satisfied with this, I will lock the layer. So the map layer, I will lock it so that the styling will not change when I update the map. Yeah. So here I'm going to enable the Nigerian state layer, and then I will go back to the print layout and then add the overview map. So here I'll just add a new map. The map should cover this area for this area like this. So this is the overview map, but I don't want this layer to show, so I will disable it and then refresh. But I think this color is not suitable, so maybe I will just change it to black. That's the color, the outline color. Instead of this, I'll just change it to something like black, and then go back to the print layout, refresh. Yeah, I think it's okay. Then what I need to do next is to, if I'm satisfied, I can also lock the layer so that it doesn't get updated whenever I update the main map. So with this, what I need to do now is to make sure that it is set. I add an overview map on it. So add an overview map, and the map frame, I want to use this map 1. So the overview of this map 1 is shown on this on map 2. So I can work on the frame style. I don't want this. Maybe what I wanted is just a normal. I don't want the fill. I want the stroke. I just want the stroke to show. So I'm going to use a solid stroke and then change the color from black to something like red. Yeah, I think red, this reddish color is okay. Then maybe I need to increase the width a little bit. Maybe I will take it to 1 or 1.5, maybe 1.5. So I think this is okay. So that is how to add the overview map, and it's also dynamic. If I change the state, you can see that the overview map also gets updated. So each state that we are looking at, the overview map also gets updated, just like that. The table gets updated, the overview map also gets updated. So the next thing I think we need to add now is the key. The overview map, I think, is too big. I can reduce the size. Then the next thing we need to add is the key. So the key is just the legend. If I go back here, I can click on the legend and then add the legend. So I can work on the legend. I can type in the title, remove unwanted legend, and so on. So I think the first thing I need to do for the legend is to clean up all of this, remove auto update, then remove unwanted legend. So I don't want this, I remove it. And this one too, is it possible? Let me remove it. And this, instead of the title here, I will just type in key, and then I have it like that. Then I can increase the size, work on the column, work on the font size. So like the title, the group, the subgroup, I can work on this font size, subgroup. Then the item, I can work on the item text, I can work on the color, the symbol height and width. I can work on the height, I can work on the width. So this is for the symbol. So can work on the spacing. Just mention it. These are, it is highly customizable. So just feel free to play around with it and get and set it to whatever you want. I think the font, I should be able to increase the font, the item font. Let it be a little bit bigger, maybe 18. Yeah, maybe this subgroup, I will take it to maybe 22, and then let me bolding it. That's the key. I think this is okay. So one other thing we like to do is maybe the background, the page background color. So maybe I don't want this white background color. Let me change it to something like this brownish, this grayish color. Yeah, I think this grayish color is okay. If I can take it to completely black or just a little bit black, darker. I think this is okay. Let me zoom to just. So this, it means this has to be white. If at all, it should be readable. Maybe I'll change it to white color. Maybe I need to bolding it. And this one too, I need to change the color to maybe a light gray. Yeah. So as you can see, our map is getting shape. So maybe this I will need to change, remove the background. Yes, maybe this two I need to remove the background. No, I can only let me change the background to something. Instead of shouting white color, let it be a little bit. Or I can reduce the transparency. So you can customize whatever you want. Actually, it all depends on your design or whatever your client wanted. So these two I can work on the background color. If I don't want the background, I can remove it. Can add a frame. Let me add a frame to the map. Let me say scroll down to where frame is. Then I will make the frame. Let's say the frame should be white. Make it a white frame, and then let me increase the thickness so that it will be visible. Yeah, something like this. So whatever you do here is actually left. Is actually depend on how you want the map to look at the end of the day. So let me set a frame to these two. I will increase it to maybe 0.6 or 1. Let me set it to 1 and set the color to white. Yeah, I think it was 1 to use here. So let me be consistent. Okay, let me change it to 1. And then the color is white. I can make sure that the color, the frames are actually aligned together so that it doesn't look as if there are two lines there. So something like that. So this one too, you can remove the background. I can leave it and then maybe work on the opacity, something like this. So as you can see, the map is getting shape. I can reduce the height, maybe 340. I think 340 is too small, maybe 360 or 355. Yeah, I think the height is better now. So what else do we need to add? If I scroll, the map gets updated accordingly. The table gets updated, the map gets updated, the title, everything changes as per what we have on the atlas. So here too, if I wish, I can add some other details. Let me go back to the design, mockup design layout. And as you can see here, I have other details. So I think the details I would like to add here is it should just be maybe the geopolitical zone for this very state. So I can go back, or let me actually just copy this text here and then I'll just bring it here. Since I have the geopolitical zone detail for the state, I can easily edit here. If I wish, I can add something like a what they call it, something like a bar chart or a pie chart that will show the summary statistics of this table. You can easily do that. There's a plugin called data plotly, so you can make use of that plugin to add a dynamic chart to this map layout. So let me centralize this a little. I think this is a little bit okay, better. So here, instead of having this state name, I'm going to dynamically insert the geopolitical zone. So I have it as an attribute in the table. I think it should be this one. Yes. So let me first of all add the text and then concatenate it with this. So maybe I can say maybe the political, this should be Y, political zone, geopolitical zone is that, and be something like I think that should be okay. Geopolitical zone. I hope the spelling is correct. Or I may not even need to add the text. It all depends on what you wanted. But that is just the idea. So now if I change to a different geopolitical zone, let's say Imo, we should be in the southeast. It should get updated. If I change to Ogun, we should be in the southwest. This should get updated. If I change to maybe Abuja, we should be north central. This should get updated. So I think our atlas map is in order. So with this, I can now generate the atlas map. So I can go back here and then click on export as an image or export as an SVG or export as a PDF. But depending on what you want, if you want the atlas to be in a single file, then you check this option. But if you want it to be on a multiple file, that is, for example, each state should be on a separate file, then you can now uncheck this and then customize the output name. So usually the output name I usually use would be maybe something like the presidential election, Nigerian presidential election result, something like this. Then I will now concatenate it with the state name. Where is the state field? The state name. So I click on OK. And then now I can now go and generate the atlas. So if I go back, I can click on export as image or export as PDF. Let's use PDF. So export as PDF. Then I can use maybe a new folder. Let me call it new atlas. New atlas folder. Atlas folder. And then select this folder. Click on OK. Then save my PDF in it. So it will generate all these 37 states. That's including the FCT inside that folder. Let me open up the folder. Then you will see how the map are being generated. So this is the map being generated. So depending on the volume of the maps you are producing, it will take some time to finish. So it has finished generating the maps. And then when you click open, you see that the result will open just as expected. So this is how an atlas map is being generated. So the same concept is applicable. You can apply the same concept to LGAs, wards, and even a senatorial district or uh, federal constituencies or state constituencies. So depending on the kind of map you want to produce, so you can apply the same concept we have done here for state to any other kind of region you want to produce an atlas map for. So I don't think we have time to go over uh, producing it for LGA, but from what we have learned so far, I think you should be able to do it on your own. And actually, I'm going to leave it for you as an assignment. So at least lay your hand on it and do it. I think the only different thing here that we have not done on the state should be maybe, let's see, let me open up the sample I've done previously. So I think the only thing we have not done here is probably just this bar chart, but it's not a difficult thing. You need to create, you just create like a rectangle and then control it. Use an expression to control the height of the rectangle using these figures obtained by the political parties. So from the layout, you can see this section is actually a static section. This is going to be dynamic. That's the LGA name. If I scroll, you see that the LGA name will change. Then the table 2 will change depending on the figure on the attribute table. The map 2 will change depending on the map of the LGA. Then of course the bar chart 2 will change depending on the figure on the attribute table. Then the text here too, it changes depending on the party that wants the election in that particular local government. So aside that, every other thing is basically the same thing as we have done earlier. So I will allow you to do this on your own. And if you have any challenge or any question, you can drop the question in the comment section below, or you can pick my contact to contact me for clarification. So I hope you enjoy watching this, and I hope to see you in the next video tutorial.